You don't need therapy. You need a freaking system. So I speak to a lot of people who come to me and say, man, I've tried therapy and the issues are still the same. I've tried talking to her, but I'm just not getting through to her. It takes two to work and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. And then there you are, 2 a.m., replaying the conversation, hoping that through some rumination, you're going to figure out how to fix the issue. Meanwhile, the main issue is you're unstable. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a system that pretty much eradicates the need for therapy. Not that I don't like therapists. I actually work with a lot of them. But the reason why I work with a lot of them is because they're tired of having repeat customers coming back to them because of the same issue, because they want to talk it out. So this is the system I've developed by reading so many books on not just psychology, but human behavior. I've been in sales for the past 10 years. And I'll be honest with you, I think after writing my book and the impact is given the people that have read it, I'm happy to share everything I've got before I leave, because honestly speaking, my one goal is to leave this world better than I met it. And if I can do that by helping you guys understand how to stop messing up your lives the way I was messing up my life, then so be it. But let's dive in. Cool. So the truth of the matter is that this video is only going to work if you're exhausted of everything you're currently doing. So if you're not prepared to accept the fact that what you're currently doing is costing you more than changing, you can watch this video, but you're not going to change because your brain is wired to keep you safe. So the last thing it's going to do is create an uncomfortable scenario that it doesn't know the outcome of and change. The only time it's willing to change is because the current scenario it's in is uncomfortable. So if you're not at that stage yet, I completely understand. I'm just giving you a pre-warning. This is when it works. Cool. So the system that I'm talking about is a repeatable off switch. Like, I want you to imagine you're in a room right now, yeah? And most of you are about to, imagine you're going to sleep and the light is still on, but the switch is on the other side of the room. A lot of you sit in the bed, complain, and hope for someone to come in and switch the light off. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a repeatable off switch that just does this as you land in your bed. Okay? This is not to detach, by the way. This is to be able to respond to scenarios rather than react. Because I've noticed that when you react, you lose. You ask yourself things that, why did I do that? You ask yourself things, you almost like become a stranger in your own world, right? Why? Because you're so consumed by the circumstance driving you into a scenario that you didn't think you'd ever be in because you wasn't prepared for it. Cool. So the situation is quite simple. Okay. The reason why talking doesn't work is because number one, you have a frame, and number two, so does the other person. Now, to make it as simple as possible, that frame was being developed by years, so many years of experiences that included emotional intensity and meanings to specific circumstances. What do I mean by that? It's quite simple. This letter, okay, to some is good news, to some is bad news, and to some is nah. Why? Because sometimes it's a tax. What is it? When they give you like the extra tax and stuff like that. Cool. Sometimes is the HMRC asking where the hell is your taxes, and sometimes it's just the HMRC updating you with what's going on with your account. My point is, experiences are based on the emotional intensity we attach to this meaning. Okay? So, example, this brush may not mean much to some, and it may mean so much more to others, right? Italy meant so much to me, but it may not mean so much to my wife. So my point is this: when you now look at the frames, you're looking at people, emotional intensity creating this story, this narrative that they now have based their identity of. So when you're now trying to talk your way through and you want to be right and you want them to be wrong, if you're not understanding the story, you're dismissing what they see based on the emotional intensity they've given to the story. Now, fact number 2, the brain is wired to probably view around 7 to 8 million pieces of information at once. Okay? However, it decides to focus on 40. Now, do you want to know why or what that 40 really is down to? Very simple, what it can predict. So the story has created a predict. Your brain isn't this intelligent system that makes you the smartest person alive. Why? And you know that. You're probably not the smartest person in the room or in your family. Heck, I'm not, surprisingly. And I read a ton of books to hopefully get there. But my cousin, he started reading 48 Laws of Power at the age of 5. Don't ask me what the hell is a kid doing with a 48 Laws of Power book, but that's what my uncle done it. Do you want to know what my uncle gave me at the age of 15? He gave me this. This was the book I read. Mind is the Monster. Share with you what it's actually about. So first chapter is From Poverty to Power, All Things Added. There was a part that said something about subconscious mind. So that's what I was reading at the age of 15. My point is this: your brain is wired to filter what it can predict. Okay? It's not based on your brain is not automatically what makes you sharp. What makes you sharp is what you decide to filter on. I'd argue and say intelligence is really and truly the ability to get out of life what you want. I heard that quote somewhere, and I'm going to recite because it's pretty much what I consider intelligence. Because I don't see how being intelligent and being miserable add up. It just doesn't. No, I want to know that through my intelligence, which is access to the information that I'm able to regurgitate, I'm able to actually get what I want out of life. Like, why would I be intelligent and be miserable? Yeah. Anyways, my point is this. The 40 pieces of information that your brain is going to decipher through are, number 1, what you're able to predict, and number 2, what you've trained your brain to look for. Stay with me now. Your identity, okay, is your focus. Okay? So your identity is defined by what you focus on. Your identity is also defined by what you consider as authority, right? Criminals do not look at the police as a sign of authority, for instance. In fact, some actually do. Most people do, yeah. People that don't, yeah, very, very, you can see how their identity can be very different from others, right? If you don't look at your husband as a sign of authority, then you're going to disrespect him and walk all over him, right? Because your identity doesn't recognize him as a sign of authority. If as a child you don't consider your parents as a sign of authority, you're going to disrespect them. So the whole point of authority is whoever you respect enough to understand that the role they play has some sort of influence over your life. Cool. And then you have T, tribe. Who do you assign yourself to? So that's, say for instance, for my case, I assign myself to the wealthy, intellectual, nerds who like gym and watch anime here and there, but like to talk about things that advance their business and legacies and whatnot, right? I wouldn't belong to the football crowd. Not because I don't like football. I play football, I just don't watch football, so I don't belong there. My identity doesn't allow me to. Same way, someone could be passionate about football, but they'll have the certain things that in their tribe or what they consider valuable will now allow them to belong to a specific group. Cool. Then you have emotion. Emotion is the ability to utilize your focus to add a meaning to what you're experiencing, right? So someone may have lost 100k. like I did. And some will feel like that's the end of their life. Some will feel like that's the beginning of their life. And some will feel like that's the part of their story. The emotion that they have attributed to that scenario is what allowed them to classify or define what they were experiencing in that moment. So in a nutshell, when we look at identity, without trying to be too all over the space, what we're actually looking at is a bunch of things that are really just very, very relative, right? So now, leading it back to going to therapy to talk to someone about that, without understanding that, puts in a position where you just saying you're right is the pre-assumption that your perspective is the right perspective. And it can't be, because you had your story, you had the choice to attribute the emotional intensity you gave it, you had the choice to belong to what you belong to, but in other words, so does someone else, right? So when you're clashing, you're not just clashing to see who's right and who's wrong, you're clashing to see what frame should exist and what should stop existing. And this is why the defense rise up, because if you're not aware of it, I'm here to tell you that there might be even more, which is your nervous system saying that because you're not capable of leading, let's bring back the only person that we've known has even tried to create a coping mechanism around this, which is your inner child. And your inner child has one job: survive. Your inner child is not wired to be a predator. Okay? So your inner child can only survive. So this is why your survival mechanism leads you into fight or flight. So all I'm basically saying in essence is, when you're now arguing with someone, you're now having a discussion where your inner child, which is your rep, is going out there to represent you and saying, I don't want to win, I just want to survive. And then there's the other composer that says, I only survive here if I win. So there you go, clashing. So that's the argument in a nutshell, right? And the reason why that doesn't work is because even when that person says, okay, now I'm wrong, okay, let's just say that, what tends to happen is they attach being wrong to their identity. So it's not just, I'm not just wrong, my identity is wrong, my whole story is wrong, everything I have known in my lifetime is wrong, okay? And that happens when you've identified or internalized the issue rather than separating the issue from the identity. So, what am I saying in a nutshell? The reason why you need a system is because throughout this process, guess who's showing up? You're going on a whim. You're just assuming that everything is so simple. That you're just breaking it down to the simplest thing and saying, logically speaking, she's right and I'm wrong. And I'm happy to accept that when I'm wrong, but she has to do the same. That's pretty much what I used to think. I used to genuinely believe that it was that simple. It's either you're right or you're wrong, and if you're wrong, just say you're wrong. It's that simple, right? But it's not. It's really not. And I'll just explain to you why. So what am I basically saying here, right? When you're not dealing with the frame that's sort of having that sort of breakdown, what you need to understand is that what needs to happen then, in order for you to win, is you've got to change the outcome you want. The outcome shouldn't be that in order for me to feel comfortable, my frame needs to exist. Your frame should exist regardless. And that's when you can be mature enough to accept that someone else needs to feel more comfortable than you do. Okay? But the system that I'm talking about, which is installation number one, is you need to understand one thing and one thing alone. That stability that we're talking about comes from understanding one thing and one thing alone. Your frame, which is your identity, doesn't need anybody else to validate it but you. Stop looking for anybody else to validate your frame. Once you understand that, you've installed 20% of the system I want to talk about in this video. That your frame, your story, your identity doesn't need anybody else's approval for it to exist. That is your story. Own that. Okay? And then because you own your story, so should everybody else, right? Your partner has their story. Be curious and learn why or how they got to that conclusion. And I promise you, as long as you get to a connection, the person will understand whether this decision they made was based on a trigger or it was based on an outcome they actually wanted. And then you can have this discussion accordingly. Triggers are always defensive. And triggers are always triggered by someone that's trying to attack, whether intentionally or unintentionally. So they may be wrong in how they react, but I need you to understand that if they were not triggered, they wouldn't have reacted. And I want you to see, this is number 2, the conflicts you're having as a gun negotiation. Okay? I can't remember who it was. I think it was Jonathan Fisher or Chris Voss, one of them. They basically said that when you're having a disagreement, your aim and your aim alone should not be to win, should not be to grab the gun, should not be to say, hey, you're crazy. You're freaking crazy. Give me the gun. Come on. No. What you do in a gun negotiation, you try to disarm the person. You try to make sure that the person doesn't feel threatened. In other words, you want to make sure that that person feels safe in being wrong to you, clearly, because in their head they're probably right. Make sense? So stage 2 is you want to create an environment where you're comfortable in the outcome being what it needs to be. And that leads you into number 2, which is stability. So that stability comes from, number 1, accepting that your story doesn't need nobody else's validation. Number 2, you're disarming the person by allowing them to feel that it's safe to be wrong. Okay? You're not trying to pamper them. You're not trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not trying to moosh them around. No. All you're trying to do here is saying, put the gun down. It's okay. We're gonna be fine. And the best way for you to do that is that's almost by saying to yourself that I'm actually gonna be okay. And so is she. Right? It's that feeling that simply says things are gonna work out here. We're gonna be good. Right? And even you just saying that kind of like removes this weight of panic, of uncertainty. Because once you know things are gonna be okay, guess what? You're not gonna panic, right? So that's number 2. Your stability, her stability. Whoever it is you're speaking to, stability. Then at number 3, what you want to do is understand how to respond. And what I mean by that very simply is the outcome you want out of this conversation needs to be stated and made very clear. Okay? This all needs to happen whilst you're understanding that your stability stems from you needing nobody else but you to have that story being told. And most importantly, whatever story is being told, this is going to be a tough pill to swallow, and I want you to be prepared for it. Whatever story is being told, make sure it works to your favor, please. Because I've worked with so many clients that have had these stories. I had these stories myself. I'm not good enough. I'm supposed to save everyone and I have no way to do that. I'm going to be miserable for the rest of my life. Thank you. I understand that you want that story to exist, but it currently kind of like makes your life miserable. How about I am going to lead by example. I am going to fix everything I'm doing so that everybody else can fix it too. It's the same story, by the way. It's the same I'm not dismissing any of the experiences. I'm just changing the perception. And as I'm changing the perception, I'm allowing myself to elevate myself out of the situation where my story or my perception was holding me down. So as you're locking in that story, make sure it works to your favor, because if it doesn't, it's going to be the very thing that's going to be dragging you down. And it's going to make it so easy for you to get triggered. Why? Because your story is miserable anyway. Why would someone want to defend that? But your inner child that has to survive has to. So because no one wants to defend it, the only person that's left to defend it is your inner child. So make your story something to be proud of, something that you own. You can turn even the most horrible situations. And I know people have gone through tough stuff, don't get me wrong. But once you turn those scenarios into positive scenarios, or scenarios that made you who you are today and you wouldn't change them for a thing, I promise you, life is going to start to be so much better, so much easier. It's going to be so much easier for you to get back into the stability that I'm talking about here. So that's number 2, right? Number 3. So we've done number 2, number 3. So we've done disarming, right? So you accepted your story, make sure that works to your favor. Number 2 is disarm the person, make them feel stable too. And then at number 3, what you want to do is this. Learn to respond, we said. Yes. Responding is quite simply the ability to realign yourself to the identity you want to become. Responding is discipline. Responding is you being loyal to your future self whilst disobeying your current self. Okay? So it's the ability to recalibrate yourself towards the future you want to achieve. Whatever that is, good or bad. What does your future look like? I know for a lot of you guys that are watching this channel, it's simply you being the best man you can be. Cool. What does that guy do in this moment? That is your response. Reacting is allowing the circumstance to consume you and keep you in this current space so that you can expand and multiply what's already going wrong. You don't want to do that. Okay? So that's number 3, right? I need you to understand that at number 4, once you do these 3 things, at number 4, I'd say what needs to happen is the system now needs a timer. Okay? So we've created the installing system. So we created the different members to these beautiful parts of this thing, which is your story. Own your story. Your story is your identity. Own that. Number 2, disarm the person you're speaking to. Number 3, respond according to the future person you want to be. And number 4, you want to create the system, which is based on timing. So things like timing would be giving yourself 4 to 6 seconds to recalibrate yourself into or going for a walk, right? Or creating an emotional map, such as, do you know what? With this emotion I'm experiencing, or we've spoken in some of the videos previously, with the emotion I'm currently experiencing, I'm going to use the current energy I'm feeling to make a very, very, very intelligent decision, which is this anger or energy I'm feeling can be used very effectively in the gym. Okay? Where can I use this energy? I do that all the time. I kid you not. I wonder where I could use this. Right? It's all about understanding how to create these conversations within that allow you to navigate these spaces properly. I'll give you an example. Public speaking. A lot of us know that if you're a public speaker, you know that it's nerve-wracking, right? You're speaking in front of sometimes 1,000 people, 2,000 people, and you're thinking, if I stutter, if I blubber, I'm done. I'm just done. I don't know what that looks like yet, but it's over. And then you start to question it even further and further. And okay, cool. So what's the worst that's actually gonna happen? They're gonna laugh. Okay. They're gonna throw tomatoes. Okay, cool. What else? I don't know. They're just gonna laugh at me and record it, and then it's gonna go on the internet, and then I'm just gonna be this horrible person that just got laughed at whilst he was okay. And how bad that is that really? It's bad, but can you shut down the internet, shut off the internet, just disappear and go into like the woods and then own a family and the rank? Yeah, well, okay. So it's not that bad. So what's the worst that can happen, in other words? I'll be fine, I think. I'll still live, okay? So already that feels better, right? And then you start to challenge it even more. So you now start to say, okay, cool. This negative emotion that I'm feeling, all right, cool. What if there's one person in there that just needs to hear what I've got to say? It's not about me anymore. I need to help him. Yeah. Imagine that person was going through what you were going through 5 years ago. Wow. Selfish of me to think that I needed to care more about me than I should have cared about them. And through that process, you're going to start to realize that as you're talking yourself out of these challenging moments, because you're able to stand because you've gained clarity on who you are as quickly as possible. Remember step 1, which was Your story doesn't need nobody else's validation. You went through it, same way everybody else went through, they went through. And then at number 2, you disarm the person. So it's not about you anymore. And then at number 3, you understand how to respond according to the identity you want to build. And then at number 4, you create the system around challenging the negative things. You become the bouncer to the negative thoughts in your head. Bully the negative thoughts out your head. And I'm not saying in a horrible way, but challenge them. The moment you start to challenge them, it's going to be very hard for them to sit comfortably around you. Why? Because they know you're not the person to be messed with. That you're not just going to allow it to sit. You're not just going to tell, I'm anxious. Look at the generation. I'm burnt out. Oh, it's over. I'm done. I'm done here. Oh gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. What's the worst that's going to happen, bro? Talk to me. Well, it's horrible as it is already. Okay, cool. But what's actually going to happen? And then the more you go in, the more you start to realize, I created a fear that never existed. And that's what anxiety is. It's the prediction of a fear that's never going to happen. And guess what? Because your brain can't tell the difference between what's real and what's fake, it's going to make you feel that this is going to happen. You're going down for this. It's bad. Like, you're going to be dealt with. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm actually going to be fine. Right? So recalibrate how you process pressure by utilizing this 4-step system that I've mentioned in this video. And I promise you, if this doesn't work, you come back to me, you comment down below and say, Mac, you're a piece of crap. This did not work. I'm still struggling with this. And I will give you an 1-hour session free of charge. No, I'm not doing that. I'll give you 30 minutes. 15. Yeah, I'll give you 15. It's gonna work, but I'm just telling you, yeah, it's gonna work. But if you want that reassurance, okay, fine, 15 minutes. But the truth of the matter is that the only reason why it's not gonna work is because one or two things are gonna happen. You either don't believe your story, you either are going to be bullied by your circumstance, or number 3, you're going to create a scenario where you're not able to disarm the person because you're still too unstable. So remember that your story is the aim of your story is understanding that it existed, is real, and because it exists, you can relax. That's the goal. Be as relaxed as possible. That's literally it. Don't focus on winning. Don't focus on being validated, being cared for, whatever. No. Focus on what you can control, which is, how do I get myself back into being stable and calm as quickly as possible? Not happy, not fixed. How do I get this to be in a happy space? No. The only priority is get yourself back. Your next step, whenever you feel anxious or unsure, is stability. Where are you? I'm here. Okay. What does that look like? Step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay, what does me as a stable person look like? I'm focused on my future. I'm focused on being calm. I'm focused on being present. And I'm focused on disarming the person I'm speaking to. Imagine you're trying to disarm someone. Say, hey, I need you to put the gun down. No. What do you say when a person is like, hey, listen, we're safe here, right? Put the gun down. So, if you need to recalibrate your process and how to deal with all of this, listen, DM me and let's get to work. However, like I said, this is only for the people that want to take things to the extra level in terms of tonality, human behavior, and understanding influence on a deeper level. And of course, we're going to be doing some tailoring, some exciting stuff I've got in the background. And I really hope this has helped you. I hope this protects your legacy, man. Because if this was the last video I ever made, I'd like to know that I pulled it all on the line in trying to help you. Because I wish based on what I went through, someone did that for me too. And there's people that have done that in their own way, but this is my way of doing it to you. So really hope this video has helped you. And if you want to work on a one-to-one basis, link is in the bio. But I guess we're done here, so I'll see you on the next one. So I always broke my glasses.